You're watching the award-winning GHS-TV, a nationally recognized student television station.
Hello and welcome to a special edition of Crosstalk. I'm your host, Reyna Katko. Ask any Memphian and they will tell you that Memphis is not just about barbecue. In the last 10 years, the local food scene has exploded and some of our favorite chefs are receiving national recognition. This week, we visit some of those chefs to hear their stories and see how they prepare their most popular dishes. We start here with River Oaks Restaurant, owned by Jose Gutierrez. Thank you so much for allowing us into your restaurant today.
It is the first time, so you're welcome.
Well, I want to start off by talking about your background. Where did you grow up and what influenced you to choose the culinary cuisine?
It's funny because when someone asks me, so how you doing, chef? I say, I'm doing pretty good for a French redneck. That means I was born in southeast part of France in Provence. And a little corner where the vegetable and food and flowers grow like crazy, and it's a beautiful place.
And what influenced the cuisine that you serve here?
You know, when I first went to cooking school, I didn't want to be a chef. I really didn't. I wanted to be a fashion designer. I used to draw and sew all the time. I used to sew clothes for my teddy bear, and I think my mother was very worried about me. She said, oh God, we're gonna have a problem. Anyway, they refused me because the school was just for ladies and I was too young. My request was, I want to go to college at 13, so I was way too young. So at 14, I went and I decided to be a maitre d'. And it's a 3 years program, and the first 2 years you work in the kitchen and the restaurant at the same time. And I could not be a waiter because my English was not good enough. I did have a very strong Southern French accent, and with a Southern French accent and English, let me tell you, it doesn't mix. It's like a water and vinegar, don't mix. Anyway, so I decided to stay in the kitchen and took Spanish instead. And but the first year I was number 26 out of 36 students. I was not the last one, but not too far from the back door. And one day my teacher asked me to get up, and it was 32 boys and girls, and I was, I think I was 15. He said to me, Jose, can you explain all of us why you look so smart and you're so goddamn stupid? And so I turned red, I think, for 2 weeks. And I was so ashamed I didn't even want to go back to school. But I realized that he gave me two choices and two choices only. I could prove him that he was right, or I could prove him that he was wrong. So I just became the first of the class. And I always say one day I will learn to speak English because I love English language so much that I need to learn it. And I couldn't in school. I was, you know, you need to practice, you need to submerge yourself. And so what I did one day, Paul Bocuse, one of the most well-known chef in the world, sent me to Houston, asked me if you want to go to Houston. I said, can I check the map? He said, no, yes or no. 2 weeks later, I was on the plane to Houston, and the only thing I know how to say was good morning, good night. But I stayed in Houston for 2 years, 2.5 years, and everybody speaks Spanish and English. If you go to the store, you don't understand the first time, they repeat the same question in Spanish. So even a judge, I've been arrested so many times, they speak Spanish over there. And my English was a minimum, so I decided to really go to a place where there was no French or Spanish people. I ended up in Memphis, and that's the reason I'm here. I love it.
Well, you worked under some truly great chefs in France. What brought you to the U.S.?
English, exclusively, because I want to be a maitre d', and I couldn't because I missed something. And just don't be able to to have a failure, I couldn't live with it. I said, at least I need to speak English. Do I want to be a maître d' today? No, I'm too happy to be a chef. But you know, you have to follow what you think is right, I guess.
River Oaks is really influenced by French cuisine. Why is that?
Well, you know, all the techniques that we use are French. The sauce, the mother sauce, everything. And cooking is, foundation is French. Fashion is French. There's so many things that are French, you know, so we have to do something that's right. Even when I come up with a Southern Nouvelle cuisine and then 80s and 90s, you probably were not born yet, but I decided to mix Southern cuisine with French cuisine. Like we end up with dishes like hush puppy, stuffed with shrimp provençal, turnip greens, ravioli with bob-boiled quail à la king, or maybe grits pudding with peaches and honey. That was very American, but very French too, because we do the same thing. And I try to show the similitude of those two countries. We are not apart, we are together. So, you know, it's a food that talk to each other.
With that in mind, is it kind of a throwback to your childhood?
You know, not really, because my mother was a terrible cook. She could burn a toast, she could burn anything. She can burn an egg and burn the water, the pan, and egg with it. So, you know, I just grew up a lot of eating yogurts, and I remember the first time I brought a peeler in home, and my mother said, "What is that for?" I said, "Stupid potato and apple, go figure." And she laughed for 15 minutes. Now she can live without it. But, so no, cooking was not on my DNA, but creativity is. And, you know, you have to take the produce, feel it, smell it. In Provence, they're all around you. We would never eat a peach that is not just that moment, it has to be picked on the tree. If you need, you can touch it. If you need another day, come back tomorrow, be patient. The nature has to give all the nutrients, and the peaches need to be caressed by the wind and the sun to be able to deliver the incredible taste.
River Oaks is an award-winning local restaurant. How does that influence how your team works?
You know, the team know that I'm very passionate, and that passion is very contagious. And everybody work with me understand that respect for the ingredient, respect for everything we do is paramount. If something fell on the floor, or a scallop or whatever, there is not just a scallop. Someone went to grow those things or spend a lot of time bring this quality ingredient we need. So we don't take things lightly. We are very extremist.
You're also an award-winning chef yourself. How does that feel?
You know, the day you receive the award, if it's great, the next day, then you go back in the kitchen and cook, because that was the past, and I don't live there anymore, and we need to do it again and again and again. It's like cooking is like playing golf. You know, you try to hit the ball go there, and it's nothing more frustrating than that. But at one point, the ball is going to go very high and straight, and all the frustration is gone. That's what we live for, the next moment. And the kitchen can happen all the time, or just a few moments, and we are junkies addicted to quality.
Your restaurant is also very environmentally conscious. How do you accomplish this?
You know, you cannot cook good food without being conscious of nature around you. We want to preserve it, we don't want to destroy it. We talk to farmers, we see what kind of chemicals or no chemical they use. Anytime we buy something, we try to get away from plastic or straw, all those things like that. We have to do our part. It's the most important thing of a chef, to do his part.
Well, you're not from Memphis, but you are a Memphian at heart. Why is that?
I'm not a Memphian, but I think I'm a Southerner. My mother was from the south of Spain. I was born and raised in the south of France, and I became American in the south. So I think I'm a Southerner.
What's kept you here all these years?
I travel all over the United States, all over the world, and I don't know, Memphis feels like home. I love the blues, I love the people, it's not a big city when you have to hustle. Memphis is comfortable.
Well, you serve some great dishes here at River Oaks. Which of them are your favorites?
You know, it's difficult to say which kid is your favorite. They all are favorite. My favorite is the attention I bring to each dish. If I bring more attention to one dish, it's going to be better that day, but that doesn't mean I love the other one less. But depends if it's sunny today or cloudy, you have tendency to eat different things. So whatever I cook is good. Is my favorite.
Well, Chef Gutierrez, thank you so much for allowing us to be here and for sharing your story.
Anytime, come anytime. Thank you.
Now let's take a look at how Chef Gutierrez prepares things in the kitchen.
Hello, so today we're going to do some chicken paillade, which is a classical French dish. What we're going to do for that is have some chicken breast, organic chicken breast. Our chicken from North Carolina, they call naked chicken. So what we do is cut in half, open it, and pan it down gently. The reason why we do that is we want to make sure the chicken cook everything on the same temperature. So when done, we're going to put in the flour. Take the excess of flour, egg whites. Can you use the eggs? Of course, you can use 1 egg if you want to instead of egg whites. And breadcrumb. So after that, we're going to put some salt and saute with peanut oil, soy oil or anything else. So what we're going to do here too is to tap it one more time to make sure that the breadcrumb don't fall. There you go. So we're going to cook. We're going to go on the other side and cook it. You want to be nice and brown and very crispy. We don't want to have too much color. We want the inside to be cooked and the color to be perfect. So I reduce the flame just to go a little bit slower. So the chicken is crispy, nice and hot. I'm going to put it in the plate. We have some lime that we need to slice, put on top. Thin as possible. I'll put that all around, just will do. We're gonna have some salad dressing. We're gonna mix those two together. We have also some beurre blanc sauce, which is a reduction of white wine, fresh thyme, shallots, garlic, a little touch of cream and butter, monté, and we're gonna put a little bit all around the chicken. We don't want to put exactly on the kitchen. We don't want the chicken to lose the crispiness. And then put the salad. And to finish the dish, you want to be right. You don't finish with a little bit of cheese. And that is one of the most popular dishes right now at River Oaks. Ta-da!
We're running a 24-hour broadcast television station like no other school has done.
It is student run, it's student produced, it is student written, and it's student directed.
Here's to another 35 more years.
Students here get immersed in lots of different types of shows so that when they go out into the real world or to college, if this is what they want to pursue, they are so prepared.
Those lessons have also affected me in the ways that I would never even imagine.
It has shown me to be different and to, not settle for mediocrity. When you're producing a show, you want your show to be the best one it can be. You want it to be, a show to remember, a show that you want to look back on and say, I did that.
Yes, I did do this. Did I believe that I could do this? No, but because of all the support that I gained, I know that I can actually get this done.
I know that the skills I've learned here is something I'm never going to forget, and same with the experiences here.
From all of us here at GHS-TV, have a great day.
For more information about the Kappa program, visit ghskappa.com or call 755-7775. You're watching the award-winning GHS-TV, a nationally recognized student television station.
Behind every delicious main course is a delicious dessert. And you can't discuss dessert in Memphis without mentioning Muddies Bake Shop. Kat Gordon started the bakery in 2008 at the height of the cupcake craze. Let's take a look at the secrets to Muddies' success. Miss Gordon, thank you so much for allowing us into your bake shop today.
Thank you for having me on your show. I appreciate it.
Muddies is a very well-known name and brand in Memphis, and the name Muddies has a very special place in your heart.
It does. Have you heard the story of where the name came from? So Muddy is my grandmother, and if you come to our original shop where we are today, you'll see that her portrait is behind our workstation. And she used to bake so much and share with people that she cared about as one of her ways of giving back to her community. So no matter how long her day was at work or family obligations, she made sure to cook double whatever she was making in order to share it with others. So that's the ethos we try to live by.
How do your recipes honor your grandmother's memory?
Really through the ethos. It's more the process and the craftsmanship of making things and then sharing them. So people always ask like, oh, wouldn't it be great if Muddies had the cupcake ATM one day? But that actually takes a really important part out of the recipe for us. The food itself and the recipes might be the same, but that last step is sharing it with someone face to face. And that's the part that I think most honors her memory.
Baking was a hobby of yours. What made you decide to turn it into a business?
Customer demand. Started getting calls, originally of course from family members and friends, people that I knew directly. And it really started taking off as a side business when I started getting calls from their family and friends. Calls that started with, you don't know me, but I had your cake at so-and-so's party. Or somebody said that I should call you about a cake or some cupcakes or some cookies. And it grew from there.
Many bakeries unfortunately do not make it to the 10-year mark. What does the success mean to you?
Oh my gosh. Well, it's incredibly meaningful for me emotionally, as well as, of course, quite the confidence boost. You know, every day I still feel like a beginner. Every day is a new set of challenges. Every day is the first one of those days I've ever seen. So just making it past 10 years brings an awareness that I never could have done this by myself. It's taken a lot of people on the team over the years. It's taken a lot of customers over the years. Just earlier today, about 10 minutes ago, someone was in here telling me about being here 8 years ago. She remembered some of the folks who worked here. And that's just really special. And I think that's the thing to take forward, no matter whether you've been in business for 1 year or 20.
You've described this venture as the most expensive, most elaborate character building experience of your life. What did you have to learn right off the bat?
I think I had to learn right off the bat that it's great to have a vision for what you want, and you need to be flexible for what's really going to happen. There's so many things that I just didn't even know to expect, and like so many other people I've talked to in business, if I'd known then how hard it would be, I probably wouldn't have been brave enough to do it. So I think it's good that I was surprised. But I think the other thing that I had to learn right from the get-go was how to accept help from others, knowing that I might not be able to pay them back for the help that they gave, but I can pay it forward.
What was your first year as a business like?
Really hectic. I didn't sleep very much. Really didn't shower or wash my hair very much. It's one of those things that was like 20-hour days, nonstop, mixing batter, right back here in this kitchen area all night long, and then serving them all the next day. And every day was such a crazy learning curve. New challenges, new things to learn, new people to meet. Nothing is ever gonna top that first year. And that's a good thing. I don't think that I have the stamina to do that again that first year. It was amazing.
Your shop has gotten national recognition. What does this mean for Muddies, and how has it helped your business?
It's absolutely helped our business in exposure, getting people more aware of who we are and what we're doing. I think it's also been really exciting for our customers and our team. It feels really good to have a national publication, kind of validate what we're doing. I mean, everybody loves that praise, and I think our customers have enjoyed it because they feel a part of it, like they've helped get us there. At the same time, we try to be really conscious to remember, celebrate that, be proud of it, but don't rest on it either, because we're really only as good as our last customer interaction and our last cupcake.
Your bake shop prides itself on using traditional baking methods. What does that entail?
Lots of handwork. So if you've had a slice of our pie before, we began hand rolling every single pie. As we've grown, we've actually found some ways to do that in some larger batches while still maintaining the craftsmanship of rolling. But it's really difficult to get that twist on the edge, still doing that. So deciding what to still do by hand and what to do using traditional methods at scale has been really fun and challenging.
Muddies is most famous for its cupcakes, but what other products do you offer?
We offer so much good stuff. So yes, the cupcakes are delicious and fantastic. Most of our cupcakes you can also get in cake form. So birthday cakes are a big hit. But my favorite is our pies. I love pie crust, I love pie filling, I love making pies, I love eating pies. So if you haven't tried one of those, try one soon. But our cookies also have been a really big hit, especially in the last couple of years.
You have 2 bake shop locations and 1 kitchen and custom studio. What made you decide to expand your brand?
Really a lot of pressure. There's a lot of customer pressure to expand. As you can see, we're really limited in space here, limited in seats, limited in how many people can come and go at a time. So after quite a long time waiting, thinking about it, we wanted to make sure that we really waited until the right moment came. We did decide that it was the right move to expand into a second shop in Midtown, which allowed us to add a coffee bar, which is very exciting.
Muddies is very passionate about giving back to the community. What organizations do you typically support?
It totally runs the gamut. I think that we tend as a team to be most excited to work with organizations that are either helping other entrepreneurs start up or have some component of education, whether that's children's education or adult education. I know that various literacy groups have been the recipient of our fundraising multiple times. Some social businesses like Thistle and Bee, and of course lots and lots of schools. We don't like to turn down schools, whether it's coming and visiting their kindergarten classes or helping fundraise or donating. That always just, I think, strikes a chord. We love to learn, like to help others learn too.
Are there any other ways you give back?
We do. So donations, of course, are a big thing. Silent auctions, donating food and products. We donate over 1,000 items that are baked and prepared each year. We also fundraise, and we have our staff volunteer program, which we're very proud of.
I have to ask, of all the sweet treats you have here, what's your favorite?
Oh my gosh, that's the hardest question in the world to answer. My caveat is it varies by day and season, but if I could just have one more, and that's it, I would say our gingerbread cake with caramel icing that we make only in the month of December. It's called our reindeer cake, and it is the perfect mix of those sharp ginger spices and that sweet caramel. It's so good.
Your mission is to promote real hospitality and love with each interaction at your shop. How do you achieve this?
Well, we achieve everything we achieve imperfectly. I like to start with that because, of course, we're still learning and growing. But I think seeing the person in front of you, we teach that in our customer service class, we teach it at orientation, and we learn it from each other every day. But remembering every person that walks in is more than their favorite cake flavor. So trying to take those small opportunities to just see and appreciate each person as they pass us by, whether they stay with us for 3 minutes or 3 hours, is really the start.
Ms. Gordon, thank you so much for allowing us into your shop and for sharing your story.
Thank you.
We've now heard the story of Muddies cupcakes. Now let's see how they're prepared.
All right, so first thing we want to do is mix up our sugar and our butter. We use very soft butter. So we're just gonna slowly be folding this together until we've got things starting to come together and stick. And now I've already prepared some of our vanilla extract, eggs, sour cream, and then I'm just gonna pour a little in there. And I'm gonna start blending that together. Once I have it mostly incorporated, I'll add the other piece. So we use free-range eggs because the hens have been feeding on grass and bugs and all the things that chickens like to eat. The eggs are going to be much more flavorful. So I've already mixed up a lot of our dry ingredients. So this would be if you're using baking powder, Some ingredients call for baking soda. You want to go ahead and mix those really well with your flour, with your salt, any of the dry items except for the sugar. And we're going to pour some of this in there. I'm going to be careful to kind of be scraping the edges of the bowl as we go and turning over. Again, I don't want to be too rough with it because this is where the flour, when it blends with liquid, is going to form some gluten strands. And I want some gluten because that's how you get structure in the baked goods, but if you get too much, they'll be tough. I'm going to add about half my milk and then stir gently. You see, it's a little chunky looking right now as everything is kind of starting to come together and forming a batter. I want it to come together just enough that it's not going to slosh once I start to whisk it. I want to bring the dough together, bring the batter together. And I'm going to give it not too many, but some pretty firm turns there. Last little bit of milk. We use whole milk. If you use skim, you're getting a lot more water than you want. So I know some people are afraid of fat in their baked goods, but we say better to know your fat, K-N-O-W, than no fat. So you see, now we've got a nice smooth batter that's also not overmixed. Ready to be scooped and baked. For bakers doing it at home, a lot of times you can just use a spoon, kind of eyeball it. But of course, consistency is important in a bakery. So we want to use a portion scoop for each one. Voila. You want it just to the edge. At the bakery, we try to work quickly but consistently. So if it's not accurate the first time because you're rushing, it actually takes longer to go back and fix it later. And we're going to put this in the oven and bake for about 20 minutes. All right, so now our cupcakes are baked and all cool enough to ice. You want to let your cake cool all the way before you try to put icing on it. So our icing is largely made of butter. And if it's touching a surface where butter will melt, it means the icing will melt. All right, we're ready to go. I'm going to start. And just a little small move around. Icing almost to the edge, but not quite. I don't want the icing to smear on the cupcakes next to it, but I also want every bite you eat to have a good ratio of cake and icing. I'm going to do some different sprinkles this time, little variety. The sprinkles will be different from day to day, and that's because it's always baker's choice. Baker gets to pick the sprinkles. The blend I'm using right now, we call inside the Muddies house, Muddies mix. It's my favorite mix. What I love is I want to be able to look at a tray. I want each one to be just unique enough that I can tell that it was iced by hand and with care by someone on our team without needing to all look exactly identical. And I think we've achieved that on this tray. So thank you for joining me in making our vanilla cupcakes, lovingly called the Plain Jane.
What a delicious crosstalk this has been. I hope you learned a lot about some of the chefs behind some of Memphis's most popular eateries. I know I sure did. I'm Reyna Katko. From all of us here at GHS-TV, thanks for watching this special edition of Crosstalk, and I hope to see you again.